The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to Conor Commentary, a hilarious take on news, politics, sports, and current events. It's time to buckle up. Here's Conor.
All right, we're back, guys. I feel like I said it every time we come back on the air. All right, we're back, guys. It's like Dave Forney when it's the pizza review. It's like, all right, Frankie, every time he steps out. We are back, and we have James Michael Sammer back in the studio. It only makes sense when we brought you back. You're the original guest.
The OG.
The OG.
Guest.
You've come on multiple times over the 2019 duration.
2019 and the 19th show.
The 19th show, go figure, I know.
Right,
and now we'll do the
cool.
20th show in the first week in 2020.
That's pretty awesome. You
That
could have
is pretty
planned
awesome.
that, right?
I know.
That's amazing, actually.
It kind of all fell into place here.
That's really cool.
So that's pretty sweet. So happy New Year, everyone. I know we're live right now, Ed, right?
We are
live. All right. I had to
Yeah.
make sure. So we're going to continue to do it on Wednesdays at 5, I believe. But with New Year's, Christmas, they do let Ed take a break here, Personally, I would have came on Christmas and New Year's. I don't mind.
I would have done it. They won't let us in.
Yeah, exactly. The doors are locked. So we'll be back to Wednesdays. Although I knew Ed was going to come. I had to message you, make sure, right through the snowstorm. It didn't stop you.
No.
It's brutal out there.
It is, man. The roads are pretty bad. The
Yeah.
main roads are all right. The side roads I came down were terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So,
Yeah.
and it's only a few inches, but this is typical New England.
Gotta love it.
All right, so we got the troll of the week. Let's get right into it. Did you see him last week? I went back to a couple for the year.
Yeah, the
So there
award
were-
winners.
The award winners. There are a couple people. Jim Davenport, I always remember him. The Wizard of Loneliness.
That one, I remember that. That's
Have you been getting
hilarious.
trolled at all lately?
I'm always getting trolled.
You are, right?
Oh,
so
just
it's
constantly.
too
I'm
many
just
people
like,
to keep track of.
Oh, yeah, I'd need to do like troll of the day.
Troll of the day.
hour. It's just like add them all up.
You don't have any names or anyone that sticks out?
Honestly, not really. Like a lot of them are anonymous.
That's what it usually is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't like, and over the years, I've just stopped paying so much attention to them.
Right.
Every once in a while, I'll engage and then just be like, you know what?
Because most of the time, it's just them like spreading negativity and like they have
Always.
nothing.
Yeah.
It's like no matter what you say, they're just going to chirp in something negative.
I've started telling people that I have a 3 tweet maximum.
Yep.
If you have like, it's not your real photo and it's not your real name.
Yes.
Like if you don't have the balls to put your own
Right,
name
right.
here, like I'm not giving you more than 3 tweets.
Yeah, it's an egghead and the name is
Yeah.
like Cup of the River
Right.
or something. Like the names are so bizarre all the time.
And then
too.
like
That's what
9
drives me
digits
nuts.
after it, it's just I'm all set with that. So.
Exactly.
But it makes for good entertainment.
It does. So this week, this was on Facebook. I had Ian Barrett. He didn't say anything too bad, but he was saying he's not sure why he keeps seeing this. He doesn't like sports and he doesn't like commentary. Doesn't make sense, and he doesn't want to see it anymore. So I don't know what we can do.
Well, he should stop clicking play.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It's pretty easy.
Oh, exactly. I don't know how he keeps somehow listening to the show,
He
he is not a fan of commentary or
Apparently
sports.
not,
So
yeah,
I don't. He's in the wrong spot, but
maybe he's a fan of you.
maybe I don't know. I don't know if I have that many fans. If he is, I'll accept it though. He's a fan of me and not the show. I'll still take it. All right, we got my mom's picks too. So Pete Prisco did go out on top. He beat my mom last
What?
week.
Oh, last week?
Just last week.
Okay, all right,
Not,
yeah.
Oh, not for the season.
I was
It
gonna
was
say.
it was a landslide for the
Yeah.
season. But he did go out strong. He went 12-4 last week. My mom went 10-6. So Pete on the year went 150, 105 and 1. My mom went 166, 89 and 1.
Wow.
So at the end of the year, it was a 16-game lead, which is pretty
wild.
drastic. That's like an entire week's worth of picks. So we were saying last week, if she didn't pick any games, they would have tied, right? If she lost by
No.
6, no, she still would have won.
She still would have won.
Right, because it was a 19-game lead.
Mm-hmm.
That's
crazy.
That's crazy, Pete. I'm going to tell CBS Sports on you.
Your mom's gonna be going in there for an interview soon.
I know. They're going to be calling. We're going to get somebody new in here, some fresh blood.
She'll have to go on TV though, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he goes on TV. I know
No?
it's mostly writing, I think, on the internet.
All right.
But it would have to be a lot. He has a podcast, too. So he has a
But
bunch of stuff.
Your mom could do it.
She could do it, yeah.
Yeah.
She could put Pete under if need be. Sorry, Pete. All right, and I got my mom's picks for the rest of the year. So today I asked her who she thinks going to the Super Bowl. It is not the Patriots.
Interesting.
It is not. She has the 49ers versus the Ravens.
Hmm.
What do you think, Ed? Any comment on that?
It's a solid pick.
It's a solid pick.
But maybe Sneaky Pete will get in there.
You never know. Sneaky Pete, yeah, that's what you were calling him. Sneaky Pete Carroll.
I got that
was just
from
thinking
Bill
about
Burr.
that.
Yeah,
From Bill
Sneaky
Burr,
Pete.
dude. He could sneak in there. Seattle, they lost by an inch last night. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
No, I don't really follow it.
They
too much,
literally
so.
stopped them at the goal line on the last play of the game. If they scored, they were going to win the division and be the number 1 seed. They got stopped an inch away, and they became the 5th seed.
Jesus.
So it literally came down to an inch. That was one of the craziest things I'd ever seen in my life.
Sneaky Pete has trouble at the goal line. Sometimes he throws an
does.
ill-advised pass, for example.
And for all my Patriots fans out there, I saw a great tweet today about yesterday's game, and it was saying that the odds of the Patriots running the table and winning the Super Bowl this year is drastically higher than them coming back from being down 28-3 in the Super Bowl and from Seattle not throwing the ball and getting an interception on the goal line. Because both of those should have been done deals. They should have lost both Super Bowls, and they didn't. So the odds of this happening is a lot better than the odds of those two things happening.
Yeah, let's get him there first.
Exactly. But we'll see. Just to start that off, my mom is taking the Titans this week. So she's got them one and done. She's taking the Titans to beat the Pats. Ed, you're making a face. You're like, no way.
I don't know. I think they'll bounce back for one just so that we get disappointment.
Yeah.
1 week delayed.
So they'll do it this week, and then next week they'll lose.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping. I'm trying to be positive. After yesterday's game, it's hard to stay upbeat, but we'll see. It was a bad one. So my mom's with the Titans versus Patriots. She's also going to take the Texans over the Bills. Then she is going to take the Saints over the Vikings and the Seahawks over the Eagles. So a couple of those NFC should be easy. I think the Saints are going to smoke them. I think the Seahawks will probably win. So
You never know which Eagles team will show up.
very true. The Eagles are a strange team.
Yeah.
They come out of nowhere sometimes. So we'll see what happens. They just squeaked out that division win. All right, so the picks are kind of dwindling down now. So like I was saying, we're going to start to get into the Ask Me Anything. So I got a couple questions. So one of them was my buddy Jimmy Hayes, who's a big Bears fan, and he wanted to get my prediction on the Bears, what their record is going to be in 2020. So I looked at it unsubjectively, and if they can play like they played last season when they went 12-4, and Mitch Trubisky can be pretty good, I have them going 11-5 there, Jimmy. I think they're going to split the Vikings. They're going to go 1-1 versus the Vikings. They're going to go 1-1 versus the Packers. I think they're going to lose to the Saints. I think they will lose to either the Texans, the Rams, or the Colts. I think one of those, and then I think one of them is going to be a trap game. Almost every team loses a trap game every year. The 49ers lost to the Falcons this year.
The Patriots
lost to
the
the Dolphins. They lost to the Dolphins last year. The Saints and the 49ers both lost to the Falcons this year. Every year, it's like each team just has a game where they should completely win and they lose. It happens every time. Is there a psychological thing behind that where they show up thinking that they already got the thing won?
It wouldn't surprise me. I
Right.
mean, how many times do you walk into something where it's kind of like you didn't do the proper prep, or
Right.
you see somebody who's just talking the most shit that's all of a sudden,
Exactly.
kind of tucking the tail between their legs.
Right. They're
Almost
going through the motions. They think that they're going to win. It's going to be no problem.
It's like every
and
part
then-
of life, It's like
Right.
kind of the things you coast through. It's like you don't have to get ready if you always stay ready.
Yeah, that's very
you know?
true.
But show up thinking it's going to be easy no matter what it is.
I think up until then, that's why the Patriots have been so successful, is because Bill Belichick acts like when they play, like even a bad team, he's like, they're going to be very good. It's going
Very
to be a
good.
tough challenge. Like I heard him talk in one game, was like when they were playing the Bengals, he's like, it's going to be a very difficult game. I'm like, they've won one game all season. Like they're horrible, but like he's like, oh, they're going to be great. They have fast receivers. It's going to be very difficult for us.
Everybody's got a strength.
Yeah, that's a good thing though. All right, we got one more. This is for everybody here. Let's see what everyone has to say.
Uh-oh.
This is a good one. Proudest accomplishments of 2019, and what are you looking forward to in 2020?
Wow.
2020, right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
Sounds weird.
It does sound weird. Ed, you want to go first on that one?
My proudest accomplishment in 2019 is easy. I became producer of Conor Commentary.
Yeah, there we go. I like that.
I mean, my goal is not to get fired in 2020.
That sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah.
That is a really good goal.
Yeah.
Wow. Proudest accomplishment.
Yeah.
2019.
That's a lot to dump on you at once.
I know.
It
I'm trying to
is.
think back. Like, what did I do over 2019?
And it's also one of those things like, was that 2018?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
where did it begin?
Just to even say that, you remember the Tide Pod thing when people were eating Tide Pods?
Yeah.
You see the thing on Facebook where they, just so you know, that was in January of 2019 that started.
Really?
So that's how long this year has been.
Wow. Yeah. That's
And I was
that
like,
feels
is that right? And I'm like, I guess.
Yeah, that's
it was
crazy.
it was like a meme thing showing it. And I'm like,
Jesus.
Jesus, it's been a long year.
Yeah, no kidding.
That
Yeah.
seemed like it was ages ago.
My God. Yeah. I mean, I've had a couple of pretty solid business wins.
Yeah.
That, without getting into like detail, I've sort of overcome some struggles that turned out really well, and I think that would be where I would kind of put the feather in the hat, which is relatively recent too.
There you go.
But just
So
like,
a lot of
so many great
accumulative
experiences,
stuff like throughout the whole year, and then it coming to fruition at the very end.
kind of. I mean, things really just happened quick a couple times that like I had changed direction on a way I was going, and it really paid off.
Right.
So that I would say probably, but like to pinpoint one single event,
It's so difficult.
it really is. Yeah, it's a good question.
Right.
I'm gonna have to really think about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, 2020, it's like definitely I want to speak on more stages.
Yep.
Do more media stuff. Really kind of continue ramping up. When it comes to business and speaking and all that stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
I like it. I like that.
There's been a couple things.
I like the sounds of it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And you think a lot of it's just going through the motions the entire year and grinding the whole time without taking your foot off the pedal. And then it looks like,
100%.
oh my goodness, like you had a bunch of wins, but it was like you've been grinding, and then the win just it looks a lot bigger than it was because it's like accumulated.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because that's the thing. You can have a huge win, but if you've been working for 6 months towards that one win,
Right.
you know what I mean? Or one win that's huge, and then you go 6 months without another one.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like you can have, like my uncle's a producer in LA, and like it's, you can make a serious chunk of cash on one film. But if that's your only film,
Right. You got to make that last.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a weird kind of transposition of like, how do I make this work consistently?
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you just have to keep on going over and over and over, and you have to really approach like the 1,000th try with the same enthusiasm as the first try,
Right,
Because
yeah.
that could be the one.
Exactly. It's
But
like sales, like trying to sell, constantly getting
Right.
denied, and then when you finally get one.
That's
And I remember even doing sales, it would be like you'd get a bunch of people who are very difficult to deal with, and like you're trying to do it, you don't make any money, like it's not working.
Yeah.
Then you get someone, and it's the easiest sale ever, and it looks like it should be super simple.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh yeah, we're interested. Yeah, no, that's cool. We'll take it. Like,
Yep.
And that's how it works out. Let's see though. 2019 biggest accomplishment, I guess I have to say, starting the show.
yeah,
right?
man. This is crazy.
And this is 19 weeks running, so
Yep.
we're doing good there, Ed. Huh?
Amazing. Yeah.
So we'll see. What do we want to? We got asked this last week too. What do we want to accomplish in 2020 for the show? And
That's a good question.
that's a really good question. A year from now, we'll be doing the New Year's show to go to 2021, and we'll be talking
Wow,
about
yeah.
the wrap up of the year. What do we want to be? That's a good question. What do you think, Ed?
I think you've got to sit down and think over the next couple of days and
Yep.
get a couple of goals
Yep.
for 2020.
Yeah.
Share this
Share
video.
this video.
Like,
it.
share, leave reviews for Conor.
Yeah, leave
subscribe.
reviews.
Yeah.
Write in a comment. Let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah, help it grow.
Yep, for 2022. Anyone who wants to write anything in, there's any guests you want to see, any topics you want covered, my DMs are open on all the pages. So Facebook, it's DMs everywhere, right? Instagram.
just slide into Conor's
just slide
DMs
into
everywhere
slide into
you can
wherever.
think
Tell
of.
me what you want. And we're going to be doing the Ask Me Anything much more frequently. I'm going to get more questions once I phase out my mom's picks because there's only 3 weeks left.
Right,
of the
and
football
we
season.
know what your mom's proudest accomplishment was.
Her
in
proudest
2019.
accomplishment was beating Pete Prisco by 16
Exactly.
games. How do you feel about that, Pete? That was probably his lowest. What's the opposite of accomplishment? His lowest point. Yeah.
His shameful moment.
His
in
most
2019.
shameful moment was he lost to my mom.
Lost to
in
Conor's mom.
Football picks by 16. I wanted it to at least be more competitive. I thought it was going to be close. I mean, I'm kind of glad
Blowout.
she smoked him, but
Blowout.
I thought it was going to come right down to the wire. It didn't. He didn't even make me sweat the $1,000 to charity. I didn't even, because remember I said in the very beginning.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I kind of forgot about it like 7 weeks ago. I'm like, he's just not going to get there.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
good.
like,
You're safe.
that's a safe bet. So sorry to whatever charity Pete supports. came up a little short.
Blame him for that one.
Yeah, so like I said, 2020, anyone who wants to hear specific things, you think you'd be a good guest yourself, reach out to us. We'll work on getting something done. And New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve is tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
We're here live. So New Year's resolutions, do you have one?
I don't.
Or do you not even do them?
I don't do them because I feel like,
It's a constant thing, right?
yeah, man. I mean, it's New Year's resolutions are really people kind of, it's like, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to
Right.
do something that's like, it doesn't, if you were really, really that driven towards that goal,
You're right.
you would have done it already, or you would have started towards it already. You know
Right,
what I
you
mean?
could start December 13th.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean? Why
yeah.
do you have to wait till the actual first of the year?
Yeah.
Do you think it has any presence where people actually trick themselves? I know you'd basically have to trick yourself into thinking well, January 1st, things are going to change. I'm going to actually do this and it's going to happen. And
Yeah, but I think So I think that they are tricking themselves into thinking it's going to happen.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then like they wake up on January 1st and they're like, it feels exactly like December 31st did. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no magical shift that's
Right.
going to all of a sudden happen and push you into this new. Now, like if you're dedicating yourself to like, I'm changing a mindset, I'm changing habits, I'm changing X, Y, and Z in order to accomplish that goal, and January 1st is the day I'm going to do it,
Right.
then fine. But then again, the question becomes like, if it's that important to you, why are you waiting?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And then if it's just something that you're going to start doing January 1st, are you really going to continue with it?
Well, that's the thing you were saying.
Right. Before the show,
Yeah.
I looked up the statistics.
Right.
And it said that 25% of people are still doing whatever their New Year's resolution was after 30 days. So after a month, 75% of people have already gone back or stopped doing what they're going to do. And only 8% of people actually like finish whatever their goal was to completion.
And I think, and if you want to, I don't want to cut
I was just going to ask about that 8%.
And that's self-reported, so a lot of them are lying.
You think
Right.
you
So
think
it's
it,
like
so you
3%.
think it would be even lower?
I do.
Right, because I was just looking at that, and it was kind of vague. 'Cause it didn't say what anyone's goal was.
Right.
It just said New Year's resolutions. It was like 25% are only like 75% are done after 30 days,
Right.
and only 8%
So,
actually finish whatever
For example,
it was.
maybe somebody said, I'm going to drink less, and
Yeah.
they skipped one beer. Okay, I
Right.
did it.
That technically counts.
I
yes.
drank less. Yeah. And I think that's the thing too. Like when people go into this sort of like extreme, like,
Yep.
like I'm going to make $1 million. You know what I mean? You go from like 0 to 100
Right.
for your goals or whatever. That just it's not attainable or it doesn't feel attainable. Any obviously my stance is anything is attainable.
Right, of course, yeah.
But if your goal is like A to Z,
that can't be accomplished in a year
Yeah.
realistically, because I guess it could, but
Well,
you got to be
depends on what it
realistic
is.
with yourself.
yeah. And if you're looking so far into the future and not saying like, all right, what are the realistic changes I have to make on a regular basis,
Right.
in order to accomplish that, you're gonna wake up every morning like keep doing the same shit that you've been doing over and over again,
Yeah.
and then it's like you don't feel like you're getting any closer because your actions aren't changing appropriately,
Yeah.
and they just end up giving up.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's the thing. If your goal was to, I mean, if it's drinking less and it's and you, like you took every Friday off from drinking for the whole year, like
That would
you could
actually
accomplish
add
that.
up, yeah, because
Yeah.
that would be like, okay, so that was 52 Fridays
Yeah.
where you would have drank and you didn't. And at the end of the year, you probably have like, I don't know what it would do. You'd probably have lost weight, right?
Well, if it's
Just from not doing that.
think about how many calories you're probably drinking in the course of that time, and you'd multiply that
Absolutely.
by 52, and like you're saving, but that's just it's one thing where it's like it's something that's actually attainable, and it'll
Yeah.
move you towards a different goal or whatever. But just to pick a random thing out of the sky because you think you feel like you should set a resolution,
Right.
It's not going to move you towards it every day.
Right. And I'm just thinking about,
I think for a lot of people, it's not so much New Year's resolutions; it's New Year's wishes.
yeah,
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wish I lost, but
Right.
in order for a resolution to work,
Right.
you've got to think about a plan,
Yeah.
a plan of action
for sure.
to accomplish the goal.
Right.
And, yeah.
And it's almost not even a resolution when you think about it. Like you're saying, it's almost more of a plan of action of what do you want to do for 2020. And I was thinking about that. Like you got to break it down, even like you said before, into like tangible things.
Right.
Because I can't come out and be like, oh, I want to start getting 1 million views on the show when the most it's had is like 3,000. So it's going to go up 997,000 in a year.
Still a lot of views.
It's like, yeah. But we're going to have to like slowly implement like how we're going to do that, how we're going to grow it.
Right.
You're saying encouraging people to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But to come out and be like, yeah, at the end of the year, I want to have 1 million views. It's like a very lofty goal. And it's like, what is the path to get there?
Right. And you're just setting yourself up and not to say obviously anything's possible.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe it could.
It could.
Something weird happens.
100%.
Yeah.
It absolutely could. But it's like, but if you're hanging your hat on that,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's better. Okay, I want, 10,000 weekly views. And then if you hit the 1 million, you're like, holy shit, I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? I went so far over the goal. But if you're constantly like, you should be thrilled about 10,000. But if your goal is
absolutely.
1 million, right? You're like, oh my God, I keep failing. Like I want 1 million and I'm getting 10,000. What it's like, dude, 10,000 is enormous.
Right. Absolutely.
So it is that, and again, it's like you said, it's the regular steps to
Yeah.
get there. Like, what are you changing? What disciplines are you having that you don't have now?
I'm not saying I'm a big fan of it, but there is something to SMART goals if you've seen them, right?
Yeah,
So
yes.
I've never heard of that.
it's an acronym, right?
Okay.
SMART.
I'm gonna
they
write it
need
down.
to be
Yeah.
Smart goal.
specific, measurable,
Yep.
achievable, relevant, and time bound.
Wow.
So
that
here's-
is great.
Yeah, it really gives you a structure
Right.
to think about how you're going to get there.
And I think that structure is the key word, right? Because like,
Right.
most people, like, they're just not changing like their daily habits.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like those things that are going to move you towards it closer and closer are the things that you need to change. Like it's one thing to have the big goal, but like you said, it's another thing to have the plan.
Yes.
So it's like I'm gonna, I don't know, stop drinking soda. Like you want to lose 50 pounds. That's a big goal.
Right.
You want to stop drinking soda. That's an attainable goal.
Yes.
That will eventually lead to that ultimate goal. You know what I mean?
So it's almost like there's the goal up there. It's like I want to lose 30 pounds, and then it's got to go like what were those things in school? Remember there'd be a circle, and then there'd be like
the pie charts.
Yeah, and then there'd be like things that went to it. So it'd be like lose 30 pounds. It'd be like okay, you got to work out 4 times a week. Like do this, and then it would be like all the things that come out of it.
Yeah. I like that, and that's the thing. Like people, it's expecting people to go because I mean I know firsthand. I'm not preaching from an ivory tower. Believe me, I've been undisciplined more in my life than I have been disciplined.
Right. At what point do you think it changed? Do you think it came with maturity, age? Like there wasn't like an epiphany, was there? Where you were like, I'm just like I gotta be because I know you're super disciplined now, man.
Well,
I know you go to the gym all the time.
Yeah.
You don't. It doesn't seem like you ever skip. Like
I don't skip.
Right.
No. And that really
in the past. Did you?
Yeah.
You did, okay.
Yeah. And I've gone through, kind of like swings in terms of just losing weight, gaining weight.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes from, it's like if I'm in an area where there's not much going on, I feel like you're kind of sluggish, the weather gets crappy, and I'm just
like today, it's very easy to stay home when it's snowing.
I went earlier.
You did, okay, right through the snow.
Yeah, because that's one, it's you and I have had multiple conversations about the concept of identity, and people are probably so tired of hearing me talk about identity. But that it drives you towards all this stuff, and that's the thing with the resolution, right? It's like I'm going to lose 30 pounds, or I am going to become someone who is in shape.
Right.
I am going to, you know what I mean? Like, who actually are you shifting to become?
Do you think a lot of people go backwards? I've seen that a ton because there's people who do lose the weight and then they gain it back.
100%.
Like
Yes.
that's like very common.
Yes.
And it's because they accomplished the goal, but now what?
Because they didn't actually shift their identity or their daily routines in order to support and sustain that lifestyle.
Right.
So it's like, I lost weight. That's something you did.
Right.
Right. I'm in shape. I'm an athlete. I'm somebody who works out all the time. Is something you are.
Correct.
You don't betray that.
How do you keep going with the motivation? Because I know like once you lose 30 pounds and then it's like you're pumped and then it's like you got to have almost like a next goal.
Yeah,
or like you're saying,
too,
like an identity of like constantly being someone who is in shape.
Right, exactly.
And you'll never really go back to what you had done before.
Correct. Because once you start doing that,
yeah.
like right now, if I go have like a buffalo chicken calzone, right, which I love, but I wake up the next morning, I'm like, God, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And I know that pulled me back so far from what I was trying to accomplish.
Right.
Not to say I don't do it, I do, but like the majority of your time is spent either moving forward or at least maintaining what you've built. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because that's who you've chosen to become.
Right.
But if it's always something on the outside, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to whatever it is, like an action, it's not intrinsic enough in you to really to commit to it fully.
Right.
So it's like
it has to become part of the structure of your life.
Right.
Like for me, I know I got to go to the gym first thing in the morning because otherwise I've got a whole day to come up with an excuse.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tired. I had a bad day. So it's got to be number one.
Right.
Yeah. And it is that consistency, and and I think once anything that's actually healthy and like good for you, I think once you start to do it,
yes,
you really if you don't do it,
right,
you feel worse, or you start to kind of get down on yourself. So you shift from this person who's like, oh my God, I have to go to the gym, to like, I have to go to the gym.
You want to go,
yeah, because if you don't, again, you're kind of betraying like the person that you've chosen to become.
Right.
That conflict.
For me, on snowy days, I spend 2 hours doing snow removal, and I don't have time to go, and then I feel bad that I didn't go. Well, I got to exercise anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Just not following the same habit all the time until it becomes a habit ingrained.
Right.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. It's like, I think it was Aristotle said, right? Like excellence is not an act or some excellence is a habit. I don't know the full quote, but it's like it is again. It's a daily thing that you work
right.
towards.
Like excellence is like a habit, not a thing or something.
It's an act, not a habit. I forget what it is.
It's an act, not a habit.
No, I'm butchering it right now. But
I was gonna say, I think Ed's looking it up right
Aristotle.
now. Wow. Ed, do you have a huge driveway or something? It takes you 2 hours to move all the snow.
You got a lot of snow blowing, but then there's hand shoveling. There's a lot to do. It's not just whisk a small path.
Right.
But that's still physical. It's still physical work. You know what I mean?
Physical work. You'll get the adrenaline pumping. Get the endorphins going.
And that's the thing. That's really, it doesn't have to be just structured. And I'm just using like the fitness thing as an example because so many people.
That's going to be the biggest one.
Yeah, which again, like
that's one of my biggest. That's one of my biggest goals coming out in January. January 1st, tomorrow.
And believe me, listen,
January 1st.
If that's something like I'm never trying to get down on people for like wanting to better themselves.
Right,
Listen,
absolutely.
Like if that's going to be your thing, like. Awesome. The point is do it in a way that's actually sustainable.
Right.
Because if you go all out, like all the gyms are going to fill up.
100%.
Like, you know what I mean? Like my gym's
it's
already
honestly great
full.
for the economy.
Yeah. I mean,
they're probably running specials, right?
100%. Yeah. It's crazy. And like even now I go in there and I'm like, here we go. Like it's begun. You see the full weight.
What do you think it is? It says 8%. You think 8% of the people 3 months from now that are still there? Well, so 92% are just paying it every month.
Well, but here's the thing, though, right? Well, yeah, that could be too.
Right.
They're just pulling fees from these people that aren't actually going. But here's the thing:
that's
like
punishment.
That's right.
That's
it's your
punishment.
penance.
Yeah,
it's just continuing to.
That's right.
But that's a good point because like 8% did what exactly?
Right.
Like what was the goal?
That's actually a great thing.
You know what I mean?
It just said they did it to completion was how they worded it. Was I don't know what completion was, but like we were saying, it could have been the 30 pounds. They could have lost the 30 pounds by like June or even like earlier.
Right.
And then by like October, they're like kind of back to where they were. So they did accomplish it, but did they really?
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe it was like some of them. But then it might break the 8% down even further.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even if your goal is 30 and you hit 20, technically you didn't hit it. But
right.
You still lost 20 pounds.
Right.
So it's still a good thing. You know what I mean?
It's still something to build on.
So, here's the quote I think you were looking
Let's
for.
see.
Yeah, that I was the butchering.
We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit.
Not an act.
That is it. Excellent.
Yes.
And Aristotle did not say it, although it's often attributed to
who did say it?
They don't get into that. They say the sentiment is representative of what Aristotle thought, but there's no evidence. The quote appears to have originated with the 1926 book, The Story of Philosophy.
I did not know that. Well,
I've heard it in sports a lot.
This is an educational show.
It is.
I mean, I butchered my own.
This is an educational show. It's informative. We give you hot sports takes, whatever you're looking for. This is the place to come in 2020.
Strategies.
Improvement strategies, exactly. And I saw another thing. I think it was 3 weeks. So once you do something for 3 weeks, then it actually becomes like a habit.
I've seen that.
So I don't know how true that is, but it's like if you can force yourself to do whatever it is, like if you're gonna go to the gym 4 days a week for 3 weeks, then after the 3 weeks, it's like it's not that bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's that like people have this whole extensive goal in front of them. It's like you just got to show up tomorrow.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
They say that. That's another quote. It's like 80% of the battle is just showing up.
It is, man. It's once you're there because you can drag your ass out of bed. You can. The weather sucks. It's dark out. But once you walk in the door, you're like, okay, I'm glad I'm here. But it was getting from A to B that was the challenge. You know what I mean?
Right.
But once you actually show up, once you actually get there, you're good and you're ready to go.
Right.
Because you're in that energy and everything.
But it is that gym time of the year. You go in and you see the guy who's 80 pounds overweight and he's hell bent on going
which
as
I think
hard
is great.
as
Like
he can,
I actually have a kind of like a philosophy of actually like just complimenting people in general.
Yeah.
Like the other day I went up to somebody at the gym. He's in there all the time, and he's clearly working to lose weight. He's working with trainers here and there. And I said to him, I was like, "Hey man, you look great." I'm like, you look slimmer. Like, it looks like you're, I've never talked to the guy before, but like that reinforcement. So like, I don't get annoyed with those people that come in in the beginning of the year because I'm like, I'm glad they're working on the improvement.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think
he's probably pumped.
Some of them,
I hope so. I mean,
some of them think it's going to be a one-day thing, though, and that's the problem.
Yes, exactly.
Doing anything is an improvement over doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As long as you continue to do and work towards the goal, and that's the thing with the scale too. And my brother, who's
I've seen him.
Yeah, like he'll tell you like don't even look at the scale. Like it's not just about because if you gain muscle, you're going to gain physical weight.
Right, correct. Yeah.
So it's like if you're looking at the wrong things. So I think there's performance-based goals. There's to make sure, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people, and I know we're focusing a lot on the gym thing here, but I think
it's it's going to be the most prevalent thing that people are doing for New Year's. It is every year. It's going to be losing weight and then probably like quitting either smoking or drinking or cutting back. I think those are going to be the two biggest things by far.
Yeah, you're probably right, and I'm sure there are statistics about like what people set those goals to. But if you're not like further educating yourself or figuring out like what's the best way to go about this. Like I'm going to show up at the gym and walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes and leave. Like good first step.
Yep.
But if that's all you, if in 6 months you're showing up and walking for 10 minutes and leaving, nothing's going to be changing.
Right.
And you're going to be like,
absolutely.
what? You're going to be like, I'm wasting my money here and I'm out. You know what I mean?
think people don't always step back and figure out their why.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
for
why
sure.
why am I doing this?
Right.
Is it ultimately to be healthier?
Right.
Is it because there's this cute girl that
Yeah.
I want to,
Yeah.
you know,
Right,
for
what's
sure.
the why behind it?
Yeah.
Right.
100%. And that, I think that's a big thing is like there's, you know, especially when I work with people one-on-one and stuff like that, like if you start really ingraining, like, listen, you want to be able to like run around with your kids in 5 years.
Right.
You want to be able to like
Right.
pick something up off the grocery store shelf. You want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs without passing out.
Right. I
Like-
mean, with some people, there's a serious why there.
Seriously, yeah,
Right.
exactly. You know what I mean? Like, that could be a real, and for all of us,
Right.
Again, focusing on the health thing, but it's like, so if you can really relate that to what people want to do, or a different level of freedom, or you know, why do you want this in the longer term, or whatever, that's going to resonate with them? Because like, it's like a benign goal. Like, I want to lose this, or I want to
Right.
stop doing that. What, like,
I
why?
want to quit smoking because I don't like feeling like an outcast outside the building and everybody's, you know,
Yeah.
it could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
Not even the health part.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that also gets into like, it helps you figure out different ways to achieve it.
Right.
Right. Because like, you know, I use the example with some people like, you want to buy a Ferrari.
Right.
Okay, cool.
It's a great goal. Yeah.
It's a great goal. But is it because like you enjoy the heritage, the artistry of it? Or like, do you want social acceptance from certain people?
exactly.
Like, and if
Right.
that's what you want, then there's other ways to get that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's,
I feel like that's gonna be very empty too. Like when you finally
if that's
get
your
it,
only
if that's
goal,
your only goal, yeah.
it is.
Like you'll have it and you can show it off, but at the end of the day, it's like it's not going to be as fulfilling as you see it in your mind.
Definitely not.
Right.
No, definitely not. And everybody and people who own them will tell you that it's like, I mean, it's if it can bring you into a social circle, if like it's a lead generation tool for people who do sales, people who want to
Yeah.
have conversations with you and talk to you. There are multiple different reasons, and like, but if you're not already doing that inner work and you're expecting that to bring you the fulfillment,
Right.
it's never
That's
going to
gonna
work.
bring you-
Buying things never works.
Never.
No.
Never. Like
It's very prevalent too, I feel.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now, everybody's looking for that validation
Right.
through like social media stuff. Like, I want a Ferrari because I want 1,000 likes on my Instagram photo.
I was just gonna say my Instagram would go through the roof if I had a Ferrari.
It would, but then
think so?
you'd be like, okay,
Yeah,
great.
but that would be it. That doesn't mean they want to watch the show. That doesn't mean they like the show.
Correct.
They support anything.
Correct.
They would support the fact that I'm showing up at the Ferrari all of a sudden.
And you know what? And there'll be some people will be happy for you, some people won't.
Yep.
But like, it's not going to change if you're driving around in that Ferrari by yourself, wheezing because you're still out of shape,
Yep.
have no friends because you focused all your time on getting who cares?
Who cares? Exactly. I feel the exact same way.
You know what I mean? It's like it's almost a useless thing unless you have a deeper meaning behind it.
Absolutely.
And a structured life around like that actually brought you to that point.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's when people are setting goals, when they're setting these resolutions, again, start right now. Don't wait until the 1st, even though it's in 2 days.
Right.
But it's like, but do something, you know, that is measurable, that will move you towards it or whatever, and get super, super clear on the reason.
Right.
Because if that's, you know, we've talked about this in the past too, like if you don't have that utmost clarity, which most people don't, like Ed said, then you're going to drop off in the first 30 days because
Right.
nothing's pulling you towards it.
Right.
So why even show up? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
So
Save your time.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you might as well just go back to what you were doing, but if you figure out like the deeper rooted meaning behind why you want what you want, nothing's gonna stop you because you're like, this is an identity I've chose for myself. I'm not there yet because I'm looking, you know, a year into the future.
And then
So
I feel
need
like
to make it happen.
you won't even be in that much of a rush because they say you fall in love with the grind.
Yeah,
Basically,
you have to.
you have to fall in love with the grind and love the journey as a part of it.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Because then you won't get in too much of a ruch.
And it's for the same reason you just said with the Ferrari.
Yep.
Because if you hate every single day of what you're doing in order to reach this goal,
Yep.
First of all, you're gonna have resentment towards it,
Right.
Because you're like, that sucked. Like,
Took
I
me
got
everything,
this thing,
and this is all I got.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm still not happy about it. And honestly, like Tom Bilyeu always says, like the struggle is guaranteed, the success is not.
Right.
So you might as well enjoy each step, you know what I
Right.
mean? Or do something, again, that's like, and that's the thing, even with working out or whatever it's going to be, like if you're enjoying the progress or the process,
Yep.
and, you know, it can be kind of grueling, but like you're sweating, you feel cleansed, you feel whatever, or like eating better, or, you know, cutting out the soda and feeling better, like all those different things will lead up to, again, just an overall better lifestyle.
Right.
But you also get to pat yourself on the back when you accomplish one or two things. You're like, oh, I did that. Boop, boop.
Yep. Take a small moment to
100%.
congratulate yourself, but then to keep going because the goal's not there.
Dude, you
The
have
same
to.
thing. If the Patriots are listening, you hear that? You made the playoffs. Pat on the back. Sits out the window. Get right back to starting.
That's exactly
again.
it. Go again.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
what you
mean?
got to keep going. It's
Show
got to
up.
be for the love of the game or for the love of whatever
Right.
you're doing in life.
And it's so translatable to everything.
It's everything. Yeah.
yeah.
To sports, to us, to anyone doing the same thing.
Yeah, you have
it
to
all
keep
boils
showing
down
up.
to the same stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Got to keep showing up. All right. You have anything to tell everyone for 2020?
Start now.
Start now.
Don't wait till 2020. Start now. But if you do start in 2020, make sure you're clear on the reason why, so you get up and do it.
There you go.
Every single day. And subscribe, and share
subscribe.
Conor's
I'm looking
stuff.
forward to it. 2019 was great. I can't wait for 2020. Ed, do you have anything?
I got
No.
nothing.
See you in 2020.
First time for everything.
Yeah.
See you next year.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.